Yo guys, welcome back to a brand new video. Today we're going to be talking about overrated and underrated England players. You hear some people talk about that English players are overrated in general, but we're going to be rating who we think is overrated or underrated. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you like, subscribe, and help us get to 100 subs.
And if it goes well, we'll make a Prem one.
Indeed, yeah. If you get this video to 5 likes, just show this video some love in general. We'll make a Premier League edition. But yeah, anyway, let's get into the list.
Right, we've done it in unorthodox order, but we've started off with Saka.
Oh,
I think by his own fans, he's overrated. But in general, and all the public, I think he's underrated. I think his injuries have affected what people view of him.
See, I think more so maybe this season you've seen it more, and maybe even in the Euros where he was not fully fit, that he just looks fucking knackered, and it's just clear to see that he's clearly carrying an injury of some sort, and Arteta just won't let him rest. I think when we see Saka at his best, he's 100% underrated.
Yeah.
I would say he's overrated, but for me, I just think that you can tell that he's struggling, and I feel that that's massively hindering his performance. So
yeah, it's tough to rate him.
It's tough to rate him, but I would lean just slightly to underrated, only because I feel people hate on him a lot, especially when he's carrying injuries.
I think people have forgotten his best, because he is a big player for Arsenal. But I think Arsenal fans can you stop overrating him whilst he's injured, because he hasn't done that
Yeah,
much.
Honestly.
Your defence won you that league. It wasn't Saka. I hate to say it to you.
We'll gladly say he's underrated because of what we know he can be at his best. But my God, can you please stop calling him your star boy when he's not? The guy's 20, what is that, 25 now?
Nah, he's not 25. I think he's like 23, 24. I don't know. Nah, I think he's 24.
Yeah, so I mean, like, he's still young, but he's not your star boy anymore.
Next player, my favourite, Phil Foden. I stand by on a hill. He's always underrated. The amount of hate he receives compared to Saka and Palmer is mental.
Look, I can see the arguments from both sides. I can see why you might think he's overrated because he doesn't do enough and he hasn't shown it fully. Obviously, he had that one season where he went off for City.
My favourite, yeah.
You can obviously make the claim that he's not been what people expected him to be, because people had such high expectations of Phil Foden when he burst on the scene. He was going to be, essentially, you could say what Bellingham has done for England.
Yeah,
but
I think managers have ruined them though. I think Pep just didn't play him enough. I think he just, inconsistent. I think the Euros, poorly managed by Southgate. Poor. The way how he put him on the left. Just not played in the 10 all season or off the right. So
yeah, I think
that ruined
I feel Pep's just promised him a career which he's just not got.
Yeah,
he's
not got his consistent.
Like, he was meant to be the heir to Heel, whatever the fuck it's called. You know, he's the throne to De Bruyne or David Silva.
I think he was always David Silva, from what I've seen. But yeah, I just believe the guy's technical ability is on another level. I haven't, like, you see what he does with the ball. I haven't seen that with like any other English player. Obviously, that doesn't mean very much, but you just watch how beautiful he moves on the ball. I think it's something we don't see very much.
Exactly. So for me, he is underrated.
And he had a great start to the season last season. I don't want to hear it from any of you. Half of you had him in his team this season. I think the difference was, I think people are hating on him when he wasn't playing. It wasn't that we didn't see him not play well, because we did, and then he didn't play. I mean, he came back in the Palace game near the end of the season. He literally got like 2 assists, almost got assists of the season and stuff like that.
Exactly. Again, it's very much a case of just like Saka, just obviously not with the fact of injuries, but just like
I think
the fact that at their best, they are unbelievable players.
I think, though, what we saw with Saka and Palmer was quantity, though, at the end of the season. We weren't seeing them at their best. They were all struggling. At least when Foden was there, he wasn't being played, so you didn't actually know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like,
so for me, I think Foden's another underrated.
I think there's too many haters, basically.
Yeah, so do I.
And hopefully Maresca can change him. That's all we can say. He gives him the minutes.
Fingers crossed. I hope so. But anyway, moving on. We mentioned him. Palmer.
By far, I'm sorry, I think he's such a good player when his hamstring wasn't there, but he's so overrated. It's unbelievable, in my opinion. Yeah, I don't like to expand it that much, but the amount of penalties that guy scores, and then they look at his stats. They use stats for Palmer the most out of all of them. And his season last season was unwatchable with how he was. Like, he had one hat trick. I think 2 of them were pens and 1 was a normal goal.
For me, it's
Outrageous.
crazy to hear that, you know, you have the stat merchants which like to clown on Saka and Foden and players like that who may not get unbelievable GA, but then they'll look at Palmer and go, oh, he's unbelievable.
Also,
like, the guy hasn't been performing at his best level since 2024.
Yeah,
he hasn't.
I think the best player to compare him to on how they're rated as well is Foden, because they both had a great season. It was the same season when Foden got the Player of the Year, where he had that 22-goal season for Chelsea and was amazing. But then next season, he didn't score for 9 months, but everyone just forgot about that. The bro was on pens as well, missed one before even getting it. It's like, he was shit that season. He got 10 goals at the start, was amazing. Then I think it was like October, November, didn't score till like May.
Exactly.
Like
I do think PR carries Palmer a lot.
And then next season, gets injured, not his fault, hamstring injury. He was shocking last season. Why do you not think he got picked?
Yeah.
And then you also get the England fans that say Palmer's proved it for England. No, he hasn't. He's a big game player. He showed up in a moment. That's not proving it for England on the biggest stage. That's not, in my opinion.
I think he's an amazing player, but I do think PR does carry him massively. And I mean, he's a joy to watch at his best, just like all of these players. But I just feel, not even by just Chelsea fans, but I feel just
everyone.
A lot of people rate Palmer highly than what he actually is. But so for me, he is overrated. But then again, just like everyone on his day, great player, just needs to be showing it more for the minutes he gets.
Yeah, I just think compared to the Foden Palmer hate, where I think they've had similar seasons in general, I think Foden's been the scapegoat for most of the England players where they haven't performed.
Yeah.
That's my personal opinion. I don't hear anything on Palmer. Our next player is Anderson. Underrated for me.
Yeah, I still think he is.
I'll leave it there. I mean, he was better than Rice at the World Cup. Obviously, no offence to Rice, he was shattered and he deserved rest. But then again, you've got Anderson on the other hand, who played just as many games in Europe with Forest. And I generally believe he'll be rivaling for best midfielder of the Prem this season.
I think like we would be doing a fairly rated, but for me, I feel that's boring, and that's where I feel Anderson is where he should be now. But we're doing this on overrated and underrated, and I'd probably say he's still leaning towards underrated. I mean, obviously he's made the big move to City, and I think now that Rodri's gone, or at least it looks like he's going to be going.
Good as.
Yeah, so we'll see if he does fully leave, how Anderson, if he plays in that 6 role, will fill in for him, or just how he carries that City midfield this season. But I think it's big claim to say. I mean, in the video, said he was going to be best signing.
That huge price tag, though, I don't like the fact that people are trying to say that he isn't going to be worth it already. Because, yeah, we've seen big signings like that, and I think he is worth it. I think he knows how to step up.
Yeah, I mean, we saw it in the World Cup, and I think that he's got such a high ceiling. I think he will go on and be one of the best Premier League midfielders. Not like he's not already, but I feel like we're just going to see him be in the conversations of like your Rices, your Caicedos, and I think you're really going to see him shine in this City team and fill in for Rodri if he leaves.
Yeah. Next player, Wharton. Was it called?
I think Wharton's tough.
I have my view on Wharton is the overall opinion is overrated, but his skills and what he has is underrated, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I think he provides such a different play style to what many midfielders are nowadays, especially. Like, he's such a different player to your Rice and Anderson.
He is. He has a whole different skill set, which I think is underrated in that sense.
Yeah, but
I find it hard to rate with Wharton though, because again, I would argue he's probably underrated because there again, like, he gets talked about, but he's not really in like the big conversations.
No.
When you're talking about the best in the Prem.
Hasn't got a big move yet either, so it's going to be hard to still rate him. Whereas Anderson, we're going to see, is he going to fall or shine?
Yeah, so I think you kind of got to put Wharton in underrated, but there again though, I could see why he's overrated because he hasn't truly proved himself on the big stage yet.
I just don't think he is better than Anderson.
No,
I feel like
I
do think it's a 50-50 what people say, and I do think it is probably Anderson for me. Next player we've got is Welbeck.
I'll tell you
I'm
what.
a Brighton fan. You know I'm going to say he's underrated. The guy everyone was saying Calvert-Lewin's miles clear of him when he had better goals, weren't on pens. And if you saw Calvert-Lewin's goals, I hate to say it, they weren't that spectacular. But props to him, he did change.
But then again, though, you got to be in the right positions to score, and that's what he was.
What was Welbeck?
I was, again, Welbeck's the same story.
I think
you've got to be in the right position to score. I would say, I can't believe the guy's actually got to move to Chelsea, though. That's unbelievable.
Well,
I don't know how he's managed that, but he just seems to age like fine wine.
At least he's checking out on good wages.
I don't want to be that. I don't want to be that guy who's just going to put everyone in underrated. But I think in Welbeck's case, he is underrated.
Nah, Welbeck is by far
because the guy's aging like fine wine. I mean, you talk about players, declining after the age of 30. It's like that's around where their peak is, and like from 35, they're just unks. But I mean, Welbeck, he's 36, and he's just earned a move to Chelsea. I doubt he's going to be their starting striker, but I mean, just making a move like that, and I guarantee he'll probably play. He'll play minutes in cup competitions and stuff like that. And I mean, if he is there for more than 1 year and they get back into Europe, who knows?
Last season was his prime though, most goals in the Prem. But yeah, I just thought I think he should have been in maybe the third choice England striker.
Yeah, I think he's just underappreciated, but I do think he's also underrated.
Anthony Gordon, overrated.
I'm gonna say,
overrated.
I was really impressed with him in the World Cup and what he did for us. But I think in the grand scheme of things, when you look at players, I would say he's overrated in the sense of, for me, he's not worth 80 mil for one. And another thing as well, he did go pretty much a whole year without scoring a goal. I'm fairly certain.
Yeah,
it was like
some outrageous.
It was exactly.
And he only got like 3 goals in the Prem last season.
Yeah,
you see players like Harvey Barnes who picked up he scored a good amount. He scored way more than Gordon did. And yeah, I mean players like Harvey Barnes I think are underappreciated.
I do as well.
But yeah, I think Anthony Gordon, he does a good job of what he does. Like he runs a lot more than like the likes of Rashford does. He covers all the ground. He showed good glimpses at the World Cup. Could we have saw more? Probably, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, don't get me wrong.
Good.
He's a hard worker, and you've got to appreciate the work ethic he puts in. And he can make a difference. Like, he can beat a man and stuff, but for me, there's just not enough output and just the quality of player he is to warrant an 80 mil move to Barcelona. So for me, he is overrated.
Yeah.
Who have we got next?
Rodgers.
Again,
I haven't thought about him too much.
I'm going to say overrated, just based on the fact that I think, again, price tag, not his fault. He can't control it. Yeah. Obviously, you can't help what Chelsea signed you for, but I just think he's not better for me than quite a lot of the number 10s we have at their best.
Yeah, I have to agree.
I think this Chelsea season will prove massively to whether he is actually overrated or not.
I think him and Palmer together though might be a problem.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think they could work very well. I mean, I've got Rodgers in my FPL.
I think Rodgers is just like what we may see of Foden in Chelsea. Where are they going to find that position for him? Or is he just going to be a shoo-in in a lot of positions? You know what I mean? Left winger, for example, where he's probably not at his strongest, if we're honest. I think Palmer and Rodgers are both strongest in the 10, but there can only be one.
Yeah, so I guess we'll just see how they fit in together. If they're playing the same team, if they're going to be fighting for the same position. We'll see how that works. But I just think based on price tag alone and... Don't get me wrong, again, he's a very good player, but I just don't know if I rate him as highly as some do. I mean, I've got him my FPL for a reason, because he could very well hit the ground running for Chelsea and could be a great signing for them. But I just think for the sake of the video, we already have a lot in underrated, and I think he's not as underrated as some of the players on the list.
Konsa, for me, overrated.
Yeah.
I think we've heard so much noise around him to the point where I think he's actually had more... what's it called? Shouts than Gahey, and we also have Gahey in our list. I think Gahey's really underrated. I think people have been saying the likes of Konsa's probably better than him. I don't think so. I think Gahey's genuinely very close to Saliba and Gabriel's level.
Yeah, for me, Konsa, I think we kind of saw his level because obviously, don't get me wrong, like Villa's qualified for Champions League, and he is their best centre back for sure. And I feel like again, we kind of saw him hit his ceiling, that maybe he couldn't quite handle the big occasion playing in a World Cup for England.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, we haven't seen Konsa get tested at the highest level yet, for big Champions League matches. I mean, there has been links here and there with him potentially being a target for Arsenal because Saliba's been injured. And maybe if we saw that move, again, just like Rodgers, maybe you can really find out if he's overrated or underrated. But I think
he was
for the World Cup, and I think just for the shouts you hear people say for him, I think he did. I think that maybe we just saw his weaknesses get exposed and maybe couldn't quite handle the biggest occasions. But then again, though, he has won a Europa League final with Villa. So, and that is a big occasion in itself. But I just think, again, you just see it with some other players.
It's quite bad because we agree with each other a lot on our decisions, but that's a fact.
We do. That there is some takes we disagree on, but I feel that probably comes from the fact we're brothers, that we both do see quite a lot of the same things and we both agree on them.
Yeah. Next person is Spence. My
DJ Spence.
Ain't as good as mine. What's it called? Yeah, so DJ. I was saying this, it wouldn't surprise me before the World Cup if he wouldn't actually do that bad. I said it was a terrible pick compared to the other players we could have had going into it, but I never slated him as a proper player because he is a bit like a young Kyle Walker, isn't he? You know what I mean? Pace, strength.
That's mental to say, by the way.
I said young Kyle Walker because he's a mini Kyle Walker because, let's be honest, Kyle Walker's never that great going forward. I mean, if you don't see what I mean by pace and power, I don't know what else I can say. Obviously, he's nowhere near Walker's level. That's not what I just said there. I just think Spence has similar qualities. Is what you're looking at.
Yeah, maybe. No, I don't. I think that shout's crazy for me.
But I weren't done. I think he's overrated now. It's quite obvious, let's be honest, I think.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, he had zero expectation going into the World Cup, and he did better than a lot of us thought. But then you just see now, I mean, he's got to move to Inter, fair play to him. Hopefully he goes and smashes it, because, I mean, he's done well at the World Cup, he's got his move, but for me, I saw him at Leeds, and obviously it was at a different stage of his career then, but for me, you've just seen it with a lot of clubs he's been at, it's just not ended well for him. And I think even just with this World Cup, he had no expectations, so you can't really say at that point that he was overrated. But I just think, you hear now the noise that he's made just because of it. And I mean, don't get me wrong, that one tackle was fucking generational, but it is 100% World Cup hype for sure.
And but all I'm saying is I'm exposing you here. So are you saying Jed Spence and Kyle Walker aren't really quick, both of them?
No, they are really quick.
And then are you not saying they're both quite strong? I
don't think he's as strong as Kyle Walker. I mean, great, he made one great tackle. Don't get me wrong, generational tackle.
That tackle doesn't show strength for you. That was a slide challenge. The slide challenge is hard strength.
I just feel that, I just think it's crazy to say because for me, Spence has never been one of the best fullbacks in the league.
That's why
Walker has been, but even when he was young, he was still one of the best fullbacks in the league in my opinion.
I'm aware of that, but I never said he was on the same level as Walker. I said that there was a big difference.
See, guys, we do disagree on some things, all right? We don't agree with each other on absolutely everything.
But Reece doesn't believe he's good. He's not strong, and he's not quick.
I think he's quick. I just don't think he's as strong as Kyle Walker. I don't think he's as powerful as him. And I don't think, even at a young age, he was as good, anywhere near.
That's not what I said, though. I never mentioned as good.
For me, he is overrated.
You're putting words in my mouth. I never said he was as good.
No, I know that, but you said young Kyle Walker. I still don't think he's as good as a young Kyle Walker.
That's what I don't
see it. That's what I'm saying.
I get the way I put it was a young Kyle Walker was the worst thing. I was meant to say a B-Tech Kyle Walker was more my point.
What? Kyle Walker from Temu?
Regen, then.
Regen.
Actually, that's another wrong one. Just call it Temu.
Yeah,
just call it
the Temu Kyle Walker.
That is really
Don't get me wrong, you had a good World Cup, but for me, it is just World Cup hype. As I say, I wish him well. I hope he does well, but I think he is overrated.
My main point was that people see him now.
Anyway,
as a Kyle Walker.
let's move on from that.
That's gonna
next
be a
player. Yeah, for sure.
Hinshelwood.
Hinshelwood,
My
for
boy
me,
is underrated. He's in that conversation with them top centre mids, in my opinion. Will be definitely this season. Don't get me wrong, he's not Anderson level, but
I feel
give him
like
some
he's just
props.
one of them picks that's impossible to say he's overrated, because how can someone be overrated when no one sees him as
I
that?
was never leaving him
Apart
out.
from Spencer. Spencer FC is the only guy I've ever seen mention
And
Jack
Welbeck.
Hinshelwood
and Welbeck.
like as a quality player who can play many positions, and I
Yeah.
feel like you'll start to see him more hopefully as a first teamer, and you'll start to see the quality that he does possess, the fact that he can perform and always give a solid 7, 8 out of 10
I don't know what
every
position
game.
he is though.
No, but
He
like
plays 6, 8,
sometimes
10,
you do just
striker,
need that
and
though
right
as a
back.
player, like someone who can play again more positions than Riley Reid.
I've had a look though. What's it called?
Unbelievable. Like he'll put in a 7,
Shut up.
8 out of 10 performance every game, and it just won't get highlighted. Also, I've met the guy in real life as well. Saw him in Starbucks. Really nice fella, to be fair. So I love Hinshelwood.
The only places he hasn't played are centre back and right winger. And left winger. So yeah.
Exactly.
That
So it
says a
just
lot.
speaks volumes of his
And
versatility.
he's never played at a bad level there, in my opinion, either. But yeah, I think this season he surely gets the same shouts as an Alex Scott, and, like Wharton maybe even.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
But,
I mean,
yeah.
it was impossible to put him in
Go on.
overrated, but
No,
let's move
I'm always
on.
mentioning him. Rashford. Oh,
Now, this might be one of the toughest ones on the list. Because, again, we see it with Rashford. He's so on and off.
well, it's another one of them where I think his own fans underrate him. This is a different side.
Yeah,
I think
it's
his own
like
fans
the opposite
underrate
to
him.
Saka in that sense. The fans overrate Saka, but in general, he's underrated.
He
With
probably-
Rashford, I feel the fans actually underrate him.
Rashford
United fans especially.
Rashford is probably overrated though, because you have to look at the facts. He hasn't hit his level again yet, but we all see a player in him, don't we? So
Yeah.
we can all say he could easily fly again. That's what we see.
Yeah, he honestly could be in both categories for different reasons, but
Well, yeah.
for me, if I had to choose, I would probably say overrated, but just
Yeah.
mainly because I don't feel his fans rate him, and I think when he reaches his level, he is an unbelievable
He's a
player.
lot like
You see
Saka,
it.
Palmer, and Foden, where if they play really well, they'll blow up in the media and be called the best. And then if they play shit, they're known as the worst. I think it's similar to them.
Yeah, 100%.
Next player, Garner. I haven't watched much of him, but the fact that he was in the shouts of Wharton, Anderson, you're going in overrated, son.
Yeah, that's crazy for
I
me.
can't handle
I
it.
think it's mental the fact that he's had that many shouts. Give or take, he did have a great season with Everton, but he's just not on the level, is he? He is not on the level of any of them, like Wharton, Mainu, Anderson. Nowhere near for me.
Yeah, I've seen him on no
I
highlights.
would say even
either.
Hinshelwood's better than him. Hinshelwood's definitely better for me than
generally
Garner.
think when I've
I
watched.
just think, like, again, I haven't watched much of Garner, so I can't speak much of him. But just for me, the amount of shouts he's had for the England squad in the past World Cup, and I mean, if he can do it again this season, I mean,
Yeah,
who knows? Maybe he might be underrated.
got so many good midfielders coming through though.
Yeah, it's really exciting to
Anyone
see.
can overtake anyone. I
For
think
sure.
all the ones we've mentioned here, though, any of them can take the best spot. Next player is Alex Scott.
Alex Scott.
Once again, I think the Spurs and Bournemouth fans suck him off too hard to the point where I'll put him in overrated. I may stick with him in overrated because I do actually think he's had a lot of shouts as well. Where once again, people are calling for him in the England squad over Mainu, Anderson and Wharton, which I think them three were ahead of him.
For me, he reminds me of the exact same as Wharton.
Yeah.
It's the exact same for me.
You watch him and he is class. That's the
a,
thing.
a great midfielder in a good side who isn't quite at the highest level.
Yeah.
Because for me, you might see it a bit more this season because Bournemouth are in Europe, but I think for me, have to go over it just because again he hasn't proved it. Like he hasn't been in the England squad. He hasn't made that big step up yet. At least you could say with Wharton, he has played European football.
Shame Spurs haven't signed him up though, because I reckon that would have been a great way.
Yeah,
to
it would have been
season.
it would have been a great signing for them. So I would say overrated, but I do recognise his quality, and I do think if he makes that big move, he can show his quality for sure.
Next player is Mainu. I mean, I think this is an obvious one. I think he's still criminally underrated.
Yeah.
I think he's a generational talent. In that second half of the season, you wonder why United came third. I think he was pivotal to that reason.
For sure. I mean, he's in the conversations with like your Whartons, your Alex Scotts, who can play in that set, who are eights. But for me, he is like he could be the best
like a
of the lot.
six, though.
He could.
Yeah,
I think Mainu is so versatile in the sense that he could play either.
Yeah. You ask me who are, like, everyone goes to Spanish midfielders are so really good. The people who remind me most of them are Wharton and Mainu with the way they can pop around the ball.
Exactly.
The tiki-taka and beautiful
the way they can dictate play, the way they can just play that one-touch football, the way they can just play it quickly and so creative, got an eye for a pass. They're the creative players that you need to unlock a defence, which I feel was the one thing we didn't have in the World Cup.
Yeah, it
we
frustrates me. A lot of people scrutinise him.
Yeah, and I think like we'll see. I think the 2028 Euro squad for midfielders is going to be so competitive. It's going to be so tight, especially if all of the midfielders we mentioned. You may wonder why we have so many midfielders. It's just because there's so many of them who just have such a high ceiling,
and that easily one can overtake another. It's a fact. And then our next one was Mark Gahey. We did go over him. We both think he's underrated.
Yeah, a brilliant centre-back.
Our best defender still, in my opinion.
Oh, by a country mile. And he is our best centre-back now.
Leads into his old partner, Stones. He was brilliant for us at the World Cup when he came back. Well, came on.
Exactly. I mean, you
saw him in the big moments. I think he's underrated. I mean, he was way better than Konsa.
I think Gahey's done what Konsa couldn't, which is not only make that big move to City and be their main centre back, but come up through to the England squad, and then also perform on that same level.
I think injuries hurt John Stones' name though, with starting for him. And we saw there he should have started over Konsa in the end. We did see it with a landslide.
Yeah, so, just think Gahey again for me just has such a high ceiling, and I think it'll be great to see throughout. Yeah, no, but I just want to mention I just think it'll be so exciting to see throughout a whole season how Gahey can do as probably City's main centre back.
He already was, though, let's be honest. Right, our next player, Harry Kane.
You can't say it's so hard to say with Kane because of just the absolutely absurd numbers he's pulled up for Bayern.
I'm saying overrated though. I think he's not shown it enough at the national level when we needed the most again. He showed up in one of the games. I thought he was brilliant for that. But yeah, I think he has to have a certain system around him that has to suit him so well. Because in my opinion, you need world-class people on either side of him in like Elise to see his best, and I just don't think that's good enough.
It's incredibly harsh to say he's overrated because of just again, like I mentioned, the ridiculous numbers he's pulled up. But you do have to bear in mind,
I don't think
he's in the Bundesliga.
I don't think he is that overrated.
Though. No, I don't think as a player he is, but I think of what he's won throughout his career and what he probably should have, and especially at the biggest moments where he is criticised for most. You've got to look at it throughout his whole career. For me, if we're not doing right now, I would say he's overrated.
Well, yeah. I think,
it's so harsh to say because he could even potentially win a Ballon d'Or this year. I don't think he will. I mean, if you haven't watched that video, go and watch it. We've posted it as a short as well. But I just feel that there's going to be a lot of controversy around that.
I don't think he's better than Haaland, basically.
No, neither do I.
I think Haaland is everything you need in a striker. I don't think Kane's a striker.
I think he does it in a harder league. And as well, he works with, again, like Haaland does it in the Prem, and he works with Norway.
Do you know what? I reckon if we had Haaland at any point in our England time, I think we'd have won the title.
100%.
Because I think Kane makes our team worse, I do. I think he's always got to start, I think he's always got to play, but the manager needs to tell him, just go in the 9. Do us all a favour.
Yeah, just be a striker.
We have all the world-class players around him that does all them jobs. We need you to do your striker job, which is what I think Haaland does best. I don't think you can compare
Exactly.
I may be harsh, I may be really harsh, but there you go.
For me, Haaland just does it for me in a harder league and does it more on the international stage, I'd even argue. You've got to remember, the guy plays for Norway. Not a bad side, but nowhere near the quality of the top sides. And again, like you look at people in around this level at all, Mbappe for me as well.
Yeah.
Does it in a harder league, does it more on the international stage than Kane does.
I think that Argentina game was disgraceful from him. I think that was one about his. I think that was his stinkiest
That's the
performance
thing,
of
yeah.
them all.
It's just like there's just some games when it's working for Kane, he is the best striker on the planet.
Yeah.
But when it's not, he just goes missing. And for me, when you hit them levels, you can't go missing.
I think he has to adapt in games. I don't think he adapts, like with where he's got to play and all that. And yeah, I feel like when you've got 3 players bumming Bellingham the whole game, you've got a lot of space. You've got to do more.
Yeah, I just think for simply the level he's at in the Bundesliga,
Yeah, he's meant to be the best striker in the world.
Again, incredibly harsh, meant to be the best striker in the world, but I just think he doesn't do it enough in the big games, and that's why I'd call him overrated.
And it isn't just England we're on about here. It's not, but
no, it's not.
like,
I mean, you saw it.
Look at the England career though, and you have to say that you look so good in some games, and then some games when we want you the most. It's more the games where we go out and you see what we're on about.
Yeah, I feel like the overrated from Kane more comes from the international stage than it does for his club career.
Does.
But I just think, again, in around that level, you can't go missing in the big games, which he does, which Haaland and Mbappe don't for me. Is there any more on the list, or is that it?
One more.
Who's that?
Jude Bellingham.
Well, for me,
it's
just...
I've got my reason.
Right.
He's underrated. I generally think he's a couple of years, if this high stage level he was at the World Cup, from my opinion, being better than the 3 we go on about of Scholes, Gerrard and Lampard. I think they were amazing, but I think there's so much nostalgia merchants there. You look at what Bellingham brings to a team, I think it's fucking brilliant.
I'm not gonna lie, crazy take from me. I think he already is.
Well, I do,
me,
but
like,
I'm trying to be relative here because they went on for so many years. So I do believe maybe we need a couple more.
They did.
England, he's way better than them. England, he's a landslide. But yeah, if we see him perform a little longer at this level, I think his career's better.
No, I meant fully England when I talk about career-wise. I think Bellingham, he's already eclipsed what they've done for me.
They were all shit.
But yeah, it was a part of an England generation which failed ultimately.
Yeah.
And I mean, it came from them just shoehorning in positions where they don't play, which is what we don't do now, which is why we're more successful.
You also saw that all of them had a worse ego than even what Bellingham was called out for having an ego. Which, in my opinion, he did drop
exactly,
in
and I think you even look at his club career. Since that, the move to Madrid, obviously he hit the ground running, especially when he was playing that second striker. But then he got injured for a long time, and then people were calling out for his ego and stuff.
Yeah.
And I just feel that he went so under the radar to the fact that I'll even hold my hands up. I arguably put Rodgers ahead of him in my team because he performed more. No, of Bellingham.
But that's why I had Rodgers over Bellingham, was only because of Kane.
Yeah,
and that's the difference.
It's actually mad to think, innit, like how players can go so under the radar even while they're injured.
Yeah.
But you saw people slating for his ego and stuff like that as well, and I think you've just seen him this World Cup. He was an absolute joke.
I do think. I mean, I was one of the people who had that worry of him having an ego, because in 2024 I did think we saw one. With the likes of, I feel like he was a bit of a ball hogger in the likes of Foden, Kane. I just think he weren't really working. But then, I think that narrative got way too forced over his injury and stuff like that. And you can tell when you've got people who can work around him and just be with him. He is one of the best players in the world. I think he's the most complete. I think his defending is the most underrated part of his game. He used to play as a 6. His defending was brilliant. Physicality, dominant. Dribbling, beautiful.
Yeah, he's just such a complete player, and I feel I just think a lot of Madrid players, because there's so many big players in that team, so many egos. I just feel like it's so hard to get him to work.
Yeah.
But I just think wherever you play him, I think if he moved away from Madrid and moved to I don't know, let's just say a United or a City or a club like that, you would just see him be. It's kind of like Gerrard, isn't it? It's like Gerrard. If you get him in a team like Gerrard was, you will see the Gerrard. If you see them, if he's the main man in a team, he will perform. He will, and that's without a doubt in my mind.
Yeah, I think the difference between 2024 and 2026 was the mentality. I felt like there was insane mentality on Bellingham, but there wasn't like an ego to just overhold the ball. I felt like he was just everywhere.
It almost felt like he had a point to prove as well in that tournament.
Oh yeah,
it
he
felt
did.
like
He said he don't know why he got so much scrutiny. Because to be fair, I don't. But yeah,
yeah, but I mean, I feel like you might see even more next season with Madrid. The fact that he's going to be fuck's sake, I'm stuttering.
yeah,
That he's going to keep proving people wrong.
yeah. But my last point is, I think Bellingham's the most complete player in the world that could play in every position.
Yeah, 100%.
Hullet gang, bring back the Hullet gang.
Anyway,
Yeah.
guys, let us know your opinions on overrated and underrated England players. If you want to see more, let us know, and we'll do a Prem edition of this. If you show this video some love, or get it to 5 likes. 5 likes, and we'll do a Prem edition.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys,
In a
take
bit,
care
lads.
in a bit.
Yeah.